I live inside my own world of make-believe. Kids screaming in their cradles, profanities. I see the world through ice covered in ink and bleach. Cross out the ones who heard my cries and watched me weep. I love everything. Fire spreading all around my room. My world's so bright, it's hard to breathe, but that's alright. Hush. Take my eyes open to force reality. Why can't you just let me eat my weight in glee? I live inside my own world of make-believe. Kids screaming in their cradles, profanities. Some days I feel skinnier than all the other days. Sometimes I can't tell if my body belongs to me. I love everything. Fire spreading all around my room. My world's so bright, it's hard to breathe, but that's alright. Hush. And hold your breath and feel the tension. Devils hide behind redemption. Honesty is a one-way gate to hell. I wanna taste consumption. Breathe faster to waste oxygen. Hear the children sing aloud. It's music till the wick burns out. Just tripping on day dreams, got dirty little lullabies playing on repeat. Might as well just ride around the nursery and count sheep.
Hold me close till I get up. Time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all.
Alright guys, what's going on everybody? Yo, what's going on everybody, what's going on? Alright, give me a second. Alright, let me mute this for a minute. I'm gonna get a new one. Alright. Okay. Alright. We shall be all good. Alrighty.
Time to hit the road.
Alright, guys. But yeah, guys, what's going on? It's V-Dog back here. Finally back on YouTube. It's been kind of boring, really. So I switched over to Twitch, like my brother said. And just, it went really good for me on Twitch, so. That's why there hasn't really been many ETS2 streams or videos. Or just any videos in general. Actually, no, that's a lie. There was videos. But I have not been doing streams. The only thing that has really been happening is videos and me premiering the videos. Which I think is better because you guys get to see it before the video actually goes up entirely. So that's what I like about that. So, what are you doing, buddy? What are you doing? Oh, come on. Come on, man. Really? Oh, whatever. But yeah, it's been a while, definitely, since I've streamed on YouTube. Slow down as we come down into here. Alright. I don't know what I did to the sound, but it is extremely loud, and I don't know why. Like, I think it might have just been the sound mod I put in. But it really makes these trucks sound like they have a lot beefier engines, guys. I like it, but I don't, because these trucks shouldn't, like, the Scania for this thing shouldn't have this beefy of an engine, with what I have, or the beefier the sound, and stuff like that. I feel the Scania should not have this beefy of a sound to it. Especially for what gear I'm in. I'm only in 7th gear on, or 10th gear on a 12 speed. It should definitely not have this sound. This is more of like when you're doing like 130 kilometers an hour sound. Or at least back there when I was starting. Generally, I don't think it should be like that. But in some cases, some trucks are beefier than others engine-wise, but smaller. Like an ATS, I had a 500. I had a CAT 500 in a Peterbilt day cab, or in a Kenworth day cab, W900 day cab. I guess that's a fair point to it and stuff, but I honestly just don't understand why we have, like with the sound pack, this engine isn't beefy. It's a 350 on a Scania. It should not sound this beefy. This is like a DAF with a 390 in it. I personally don't think it should be this beefy, but personal opinion, I guess, with the modder and all that. But yeah, we are rocking the Prime Logistics. So, and we're also rocking the Prime Logistics paint scheme for multiplayer and single player, just so we can get that purple and black. But unfortunately, they had to make that a mod for our Euro truck. For anyone that's in Prime, someone had to make a mod for us to make our paint scheme a thing, because they had no like purple and black paint schemes, or just paint schemes that look really good like this. So shout out to Chris for doing that, for having someone make the paint scheme mod for Euro truck for Prime. Really love that. Looks very nice, Chris. I wonder if Chris did this by himself. But yeah, VDogs123 on Twitch. Go ahead and go give me a follow. You'll see at the bar that is 30 followers on Twitch. And I just did that on that 14 is when I set that goal. So we're already hitting that goal, boys and girls. Also, almost to our destination here. So, yeah. You always love to see. I just don't understand the fact with beefier engines, beefier trucks. Like a beefier engine means it's louder and stuff like that. But I've gotten people saying, "Oh wow, it even says it on the window right there. I didn't see that. It says Prime." But yeah, I've gotten complaints on my Twitch streams. "Oh, why do you have this sound? How come I don't?" Guys, it's a sound mod that you put into your plugins folder, and it's only on your end. So, like, that's what I don't understand. Like, I've told them, I've given it to people, but, like, yeah, I'm getting ready to take it out, because it just sounds, like, way too, like, really high-end, and, not high-end, but, like, it sounds too beefy for this Scania. Like, I have this exact Scania on multiplayer, and it should not sound this beefy. In my opinion, it shouldn't even sound beefy like that, but I'm just doing this. Like, I shouldn't hear everything else in the background so loud. Let me know your guys' thoughts on that. You guys are probably like, Vito, just shut up and drive. But, yeah. So, yeah. Alright, we should be good on fuel, right? I think we had 290 the last time I checked it. Oh, fudge. We should have stopped. Alright, we'll stop in the next fuel station. How far away? Yikes, I have to see how many miles that is. That's how much gas we have, 15 gallons, or 15 liters. Yikes, we're not gonna make it, guys. We might have to stop somewhere. Alright, we need to stop somewhere for sure. Alright. Dang it, I just missed it. Dang. Alright, so we just missed the exit, so we're probably gonna run out of fuel on the highway. Yeah. Out of fuel. Alright guys, we're just gonna have to coast this. Alright, come on, I need to get over, dude. I'm literally running out of fuel as we speak, guys. I have no more fuel left in the truck. I'm full gas right now. Actually, hold on. Might be able to. I can't even emergency fuel. Why? Alright. Guys. we're gonna keep going. Come on, come on. I'm out of fuel, guys, on the highway. Oh, man. Oh boy, guys, we're out of fuel on the highway right now. Alright. Oh, wait. Yeah, alright. Alright, it's gonna take 30 minutes, but it's worth taking 30 minutes than being stuck on the side of the highway. Give me a minute, guys. Scratch my hand. Alright. Alrighty.
Keep right, then exit right. Exit right.
Alright. That's embarrassing. I don't think I've ever ran out of gas before in this game. I've definitely ran out of gas in American Truck, guys. Never in this game, though. Which is extremely surprising for me, because I'm kind of stupid and usually don't check my gas, so. Thumbs up for that. Make sure if you guys are enjoying the video / live stream whenever you guys are watching this, make sure to smash that like button. Make sure to hit that subscribe button. You guys, everything helps. Make sure to hit that thumbs up button. That lets me know you guys want to see more of this on the channel, more daily live streams possibly. Really? Alright, now open. There we go. Guys, we're getting scared. Getting scared. Thought it wasn't gonna open on me. I thought it was just gonna leave me out. Not let me into my city, but made me pay. That was gonna hurt. Make sure you guys do smash that like button though. It does really let me know what you guys want to see on the channel. Also, any new games you guys want me to get under 25 bucks? Any newer games that came out? Anything? That'll be $25 US. Just so you know. Any new games? Anything at all? I know there's like Euro Truck Racing Championship or something like that came out. Mark was talking about. Wait, hold up. Need a quick and safe prime logistics. Wait. Oh, need delivery quick and safe. You call, we haul. Prime logistics. Oh my God, guys. Alright, good. Yeah, we're not holding the lanes up. Alright, but yeah, guys, you call, we haul is our motto. You call, we haul, baby. Woo woo. Alright. But yeah, guys, shout out to Chris, the person that made Prime. I think it's Chris, right? I think. I'm not sure of this. I'll check it out. That will definitely get you guys a link to our website. Search up Prime VTC on Google. Not Pringles VTC, for those of you guys that don't know. Not Pringles VTC. We don't like Pringles. Pringles is our #1 competition. Francois. Alright. Yeah, those of you guys that don't know, Pringles just sticks is our main. Oh, actually, I can't say that. I was gonna say, there we go. Alright, guys. Nicely done, nicely done. Alrighty. Let's see. Where's the dash? Really? I don't have a dash dealer discovered? Really? Man, I am a crackhead then. I have a dash in here? No. Damn. I do have some new trucks. Okay. Alright, give me a second. I have an idea. Let me find a death very quick, and we'll throw it in. Alright. I know death I want. Volvo. Those of you guys that don't know, the X16 came out. We need your truck to search. Guys, for those of you guys that don't know, the F16 is just like a really like strong truck. Alright. Okay. I guess. Alrighty, guys. So that's alrighty. But yeah, for those of you guys who don't know, now we're downloading a Volvo instead of a DAF. So I just realized if I do a DAF, I'm not gonna be able to get it. So yeah, guys, just give me a moment. And yeah. Give me a moment. What we're going to do is go for some meat trucks. Well, I guess while the skip downloads. Never mind, it's already done. And fold on with WinRARs. Let's do. There we go. Euro Truck Simulator. There we go. Alright. Guys, we're gonna use hold up. Yeah, give me a second, guys. We're gonna use a Volvo sound. Just give me a minute. I might use a Volvo sound if I can find it. If I can't find it really quick, then I'm not gonna use it then. I got this open pipe crackle sounds. Yeah, here's an open pipe I just found. Scania. But yeah. Yeah. Well, alright, you know, we'll do that later. Alright. F16 series. But yeah, guys, we're about to drive a Volvo X16 series, I think it is, right? Yeah. Mark did a video, or a few streams with this truck. I've never personally tried it. So this is going to be a first for me. But he liked it a good amount, so. I think he drove it today, too. To be honest. Oh, boys. Should we get the Globetrotter? Alright, you guys are gonna have to, like, kind of help me with this. No, it's the F12. Yeah, it's the F12. Alright. Oh, no. He made his an F16 by changing the motor in it. Alright, there we go. Alright. We can do 12 speed or 12 speed with a retarder. We'll do 12 speed. Obviously the exclusive. Who do you think I am? Who do you think I am, Mr. Nobody? Never mind. I was gonna do crime, but I can't. I'll do that. Yikes, guys! So much customization. Yeesh. So much, guys. Thunder and the thunder. Turn. Screamer. Alright, there we go. Oh, yikes, no. Obviously. Alright, there's some beacons right there. Yeah, we'll do round. None of that stuff works ever. Just on like any truck in general. What's this? Boulevard free slots. Alright, bet. There's some wiggy wag thingamajiggies, I forget what they're called. I'm not, because I can't find them. Alright. Bet, guys, bet. For those of you guys that don't know, you guys should go check out Silent Scotty's YouTube channel on you guys should go check out Silent Scotty's YouTube channel. Obviously after we're done here. Alright, bet. There we go. Alright, we're gonna do painted. Is it there? Alright. Remember, we can't do that because it'll cover that. We do need to be legal as well. Alright. There we go. That works. Alrighty, there we go. Yikes. Yoink. Hold up, what's this over here? Ooh. Put Volvo like that. It's not even. Oh wait, yes it is. Never mind, because I thought that was like where the exhaust is, but they just didn't want to show the exhaust. But no, the exhaust is like right here, so it'll go down and about. It'll go about its merry way. I'll go with that. Custom, no. Is that not a thing on this truck? Alright, yeah, I'll go with that. Phone. Are you insane? No, there's a cat up there. Put my wallet up there. And some shades. Yikes, no. No. That stuff was going back anyway. Console item, we'll put a hat there. No, I don't want anything up there. Actually, the interior is very nice, I have to say. I thought it was gonna be like more of a big European style truck, but now, to be honest, it's actually pretty nice. Like, cause I know Volvo does make US of A trucks. That's why I thought this one was gonna be more of a European style. But to be honest, no, it's just kind of normal. Normal. Go right there. It also comes with a sound added to it. So hopefully my sound mod doesn't mess it up. Because I know, since I do have that sound mod in. But yeah, guys, we're about to go drive the Volvo F Series. Series. I think Series. There we go. Nah, I'm just chilling. Alright. We're gonna save it right here. Tell me that's not actually tank, right? That. Bam, tomorrow's thumbnail. Alright, yep, I'm taking that sound mod out. Alright, give me one section. Documents. Where did I put it in? Shouldn't it be in there? Alright, give me a second, guys. Alright, guys. I'm gonna throw you to the be right back screen. Oh, never mind, I got rid of it. Alright, guys, we're not ending. I'm just gonna go on mute. I'll be back in like 5 minutes. I gotta use the restroom, and I need to figure out how to take this out real quick. Alright, bye. See you in like 5 minutes. I guess. I think I got it. So yeah, just give me 1 second. Alright. Now I know ETS2 is gonna sound insanely different, I think. Or at least trucks. Where is your truck? There it is. Alrighty. Alright, so give me a minute. So yeah, now I should hear a really beefy, a real beefed up truck sound when I'm in the Volvo. The Volvo should sound like what it sounds like in Mark's stream. By the way, that is the guy I got the truck off of. Forgot how quiet it was gonna be. Guys, that truck, or that sound is so loud. This is what my things were at. Alright, let's go. But yeah, guys. So, yeah. Alright. Let's get a job going somewhere other than where I'm at. Yeah, I can't wait to go from Sweden to Russia. That'll be cool. I just need to get up into these areas like Norway, Sweden, or is that pronounced Sweden? Guys, I think it's pronounced Sweden. Denmark, Germany, Netherlands. I've been down to Dortmund and Osnabrück on here on MP, and that's about it. And then I need to explore all the way down here. I've been down to here, whatever that is, in the Kyrgyz Republic. Been down to Gars in Onstunan, or however you say that. I haven't been past like here on MP, and then I've been to like to here on MP. I've been down to Florence, and that was it, guys. So yeah, let's go down to Rotterdam.
Let's go.
Alright. I guess GPS is already ready.
Turn left.
Alright. GPS was ready
Turn
for
right.
me.
Get ready to turn left.
Oh, these trucks sound so much better, guys.
Turn left.
Like that was the issue, was that sound mod I had. Like these sound so much better.
Get ready to turn
Like
right.
I'm not even gonna lie, I don't like the beefier
Turn right.
engine sounds unless I'm driving a really beefy truck. Don't get me wrong,
all
it's a great
over.
sound mod because I'm tired of hearing the same sound on MP, but guys, that right there. No, it's not that. But this right here. That's not a beefy sound for this truck. That's again, I think that's how it actually sounds in IRL, so. If it does, that's spot on, mate. Because this truck, I personally have not ever been around this truck. Ow. Hit myself in the throat. But I'm not from Europe, guys. So I don't know much about this truck. That sounded good right there when I revved. But yeah, guys, make sure to hit that like button if you guys are enjoying the content. Make sure to hit that subscribe button. And yeah, you'll get a little shout out
Time to
if
get
you
the job done.
when you hit that subscribe button. But yeah. Now Mark Armstrong does have a custom skin for this truck that I think he had one of his good buddies make, or they made it for him and sent him the truck as well, I think. But yeah.
Get ready to turn
Honestly,
left.
this truck does not sound bad. I thought it would sound a little bit underpowered,
Turn left.
but no, I think it sounds about good. Like, I thought it was gonna sound a little underpowered, like in cab, but no, cause oh, that was sexy.
At the roundabout, take the first exit.
Alright, let's go.
Exit now.
Ow. I just got caught on something. Honestly, this truck like drives very, very smooth compared to other ones. Also, Outlaws Mac is going to be tomorrow. Outlaws Mac. The Mac Legacy. Outlaws Mac Legacy is going to be live on Twitch. What I'm doing is I'm going to use his truck on Twitch. It's going to be a build and drive, or not a build and drive. A build and drive would be not that. A build and drive is completely different. Sorry about that. If you guys watch FTG, he does build and drives.
Keep left.
I know he does, not sure who else does them. You guys will have to look that up later, same with me. But yeah, I know what the build and drive is. Build and drive is basically the Twitch or YouTube streamer, or whatever he streams on, or if it's a her, whatever that person prefers streaming on. Streams him or her building a truck, such, or if they really have cars in their Truckers MP and stuff, or in their, not their Truckers MP, but in their game, like single player and stuff like that. I do my build and drives in single player because I could have a lot more of a variety of vehicles to choose from. So yeah, that's what I prefer, but other people prefer different things. I prefer that for my instance. But yeah. I think this truck sounds perfect. You guys might not think of that. I think this truck sounds good, but I like it, so I know Mark has used it for a lot of streams. So, yeah. Let me know if you guys know who Mark Armstrong is. Let me know. But yeah, also guys, make sure you go follow my Twitch, VDogs123. But yeah, guys, let's go. Oh, okay. Or you can do that. Okay, sorry about that. Yeah, okay. Let's get into the fast lane here. Let me know if you guys think I should keep streaming on YouTube or should I go back to Twitch. I think I might make that decision. Jesus. Running into everything, guys. I'm sorry. Don't get over, don't get over. Oh my god. Did you see that car? It almost did like a front flip. Oh, really? Speeding violation. Alright, cool. Yikes.
Keep left, and then turn left. Turn left.
Let's go ahead. Let's make the turn. Nah. Alright, give me a second, guys. Windshield wipers. Alright. I am behind the snow. Alright. But yeah. Always. Everybody's always welcome here on the channel. Make sure you guys do share this video / live stream if you guys do like what you are seeing. Why is slow mode on? I don't know. I can't figure out how to turn it off. So. Why am I going so slow though? That's fine. I don't know. But what's going on, Lucky? How you doing, man? How you doing? Make sure if you do like what you're seeing here, that you do hit that thumbs up button. I'm getting back over. Okay. Very odd that there's not many cars out here right now. But yeah, if you do like what you're seeing, make sure you hit that subscribe button, turn on the post notifications, and once you do that, you should, once you hit the subscription button, you should pop up as a new subscriber on the YouTube channel, right in the middle of the screen, so you get your own personal shout out. But yeah, today we're using the Volvo F16. It's not that lucky, and that message will be hidden from everyone else. It's not that. I literally have been gone for 6 months. I've been in the hospital for a while, and I had over 1,000 followers or subscribers, and then everyone left because I was gone. They don't even work on this truck. That's what I hate. Stupid windshield wipers don't even work. Might as well not use them. Oh, yikes.
Go straight on. Keep left, and then continue straight on. Go straight on.
But yeah, Lucky, it's not even just that. It's, do you see how tough it is out here in the YouTube community? For the smaller streamers and everything.
Go straight on.
That's true in your opinion, though. That's. I don't know why they're not. Hold on, give me a second. Alt tab out right now. Alright, there we go. Sorry, I had to alt tab out, guys. For some reason. Like, if we could just move off that topic right now, that would be good. But yeah, guys, when I get the link, yeah, I guess. But if I do get the link for this truck, guys, I would definitely give it to you. But let me know how you like this truck. I'm not a big fan of Volvos. Let me know what you are a fan of. Anybody know what the X is for on the bridge like that in Europe? I see him before every bridge I go on in this game. Don't know why. Alright. Alright. I need to find, like, some more nice trucks to show off. Alright. Well, that was kind of useless. Get right back into the lane we were just in. Does anybody know what the X's before bridges are in this game? Yikes, guys. Speeding violation.
Keep right.
Yeah, we're going
And then turn
straight.
right.
Is that legal to like change like that
Turn right.
at an intersection? Anybody know? Yikes, yikes, yikes.
Turn left. We are finished.
Oh, the same load we have. Alright, let's get lined up here. Oh, what am I doing? Already going bad. Alright, let's back this in. Yikes, what am I doing? Lucky, you still here? Let's see, what do we got? What do we got? What do we got? Alright, Rotterdam. anything? Yikes, that is far. It's far, but it'd be worth it. Alright, I think we'll go with like one of these. What about this? Nah. Anything short? Newcastle's just up there. Duisburg, London, Southampton. Alright, we'll go Duisburg.
Time to hit the road.
Check out the same thing I just dropped off.
Turn left.
Anybody have any like better traffic mods that add cars to the map that don't really drop FPS and stuff like that?
Get ready to turn right.
I just need one that doesn't kill my frames, guys.
Turn right.
There we go. Yeet. Oh, it's green. I didn't know. I'm sorry. I'm a bit retarded.
Keep right. This is where it ends.
Well, alright. The offer is still on the table for going to there. Or should we go there? Or do you guys want to see me go to Duisburg and single player? Actually, I might save this for tomorrow, so I might end the stream now. I'll get up at like 12 tomorrow. Start streaming again. I'm not sure. Actually, hold on. Let me see. Let me see if I can take off slow mode really quick. And I go ahead and refresh your page. Yeah, it says slow mode's off for me. Alright, there we go. Alright, there we go. Slow mode's off, guys. Alright. Alright. You guys want to see me get another truck? What do you guys want to see me do here? What do you guys want to see me do? I need to know. Actually, hold up. I might go find that, actually, yeah, I'm gonna go find that Volvo, sound. Realistic blinker. Alright, give me 1 second, guys. Currently looking for a sound mod. To see if I can put a sound mod in. Looking for a sound mod, but I can't find any. Alright, give me 1 second, guys. I guess. Found it. Alright. Where is it? There. Okay. Now what just happened to the music? My music. Alright, I guess we'll... I mean, did you guys even really like the music or no? Alright, we'll keep the music out for now. Alright, how about this? We'll keep the music out so you guys can hear the new truck sound. Alright, so before... Alright, listen to it. Okay, let's go into here. Volvo sound. There we go. There we go. Alright, now we're about to listen to a better Volvo sound, I think. I hope. Like, what does that X stand for? Does anybody know?
Okay, here we go.
Nah, it sounds the same. Just sounds a bit more beefier. So we'll take that out. Okay. Glad to know I don't like that sound. Okay. Okie dokie. Glad to know I don't think it worked either. Alright. Alright, so let's go. Let me pull this over here. Pull up your truck. Trucks. Alright. You guys want me to drive the Scania again? Or keep the truck that we have out? Alright, yeah, let's do some. Anybody know, like, any good map extensions? Deleted Europe? What? Okay. Hold up. Okay, so let's throw the open pipe in there, and that's whatever that does, and we'll deal with that later. Alright. But yeah, guys, that sound mod did not do anything to the Volvo. It did not make it sound beefier, didn't make it sound less beefier, it just made it sound the same. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch back to the Scania that... Okay, so it's this one. Okay, drive. Yes. Okay, I want to see if this sounds like an open pipe, because I have heard open pipes in IRL, so...
Let's do this.
Yup, that is an open pipe for sure, guys. This is a nice open pipe. Let me know if you guys like this open pipe. I really like this open pipe. Like, I know some of the open pipes out there are just, like, not good sounding. Out of all, I think this one might be the best open pipe sound. This is a very, very good open pipe sound. I'm actually very surprised this, because not many of the open pipes I like. Not many of the open pipes are just even that good. So, yeah. So do you guys want to keep this? And what we'll do is, give me a second. Thanks, it's a lot. Alright, we'll do. Alright, so alright, so give me 1 second. Throw that in there. Throw that in there, might as well. we have to do that. Oh, there we go. Wait, what? Oh, alright. Our map and gauges and all that jazz are blank. Okay. Whatever, I need them anyway. I have. Like, I don't even know why it's blank, but sure. I guess I don't need it.
Turn right. Get ready to turn right. Turn right. Get ready to turn left. Turn left. At the roundabout, take the first exit. Exit now.
Dun 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 dun. Go around the roundabout. Done. Alright, there we go.
Rerouting. Recomputing.
Actually, guys, hold on. Never mind. I'll do that tomorrow. And then let's do that. Okay. Alright, so let's save. Let's quit. Alright guys, that's going to be the end of the stream. Also tomorrow I'm going to get Baltic. See, I'm going to buy that. I just realized I had the money for it like 2 months ago, or when it first came out, and still haven't bought anything with it, with that money, so I forgot to get it. So yeah guys, unfortunately we're going to end it there. It's just, I want to go to bed, tired. I've been streaming all day. But yeah guys, make sure you go check out my Twitch channel, because most of my live streams are going to be on there. If you do want to see the content that I do post there, go for it. On Twitch it's BDogs123. So yeah guys. Ow, that was very loud, sorry. Yeah. Goodbye, everyone. Bye.